everyone, shalom, might I say, welcome to the television show. My name is Shoshana Smilanski, and today we are streaming on IsraDiva Live two very special guests, absolutely meyuchadim. Meyuchadim is how we say special in Hebrew because they are two fellow Jews. This is the first episode where we have two fellow Jews who have a lot of experience living, working, loving, and playing in Israel. And so, welcome in clapping our hands and cheering. To our left, we have we always start with the ladies first. So to our right, we have the wonderful Rachel Meidan. Everyone, Rachel Meidan, give your hands clear again. Okay, welcome. Absolutely. And to our left, we have the fellow male, the only male representative of the show today, and we have Michael Sack. Sack like the ball sack. Okay, shalom everyone. Welcome. Okay. And so, the way that we begin this show is we introduce our guests by having them speaking for about 60 seconds. Each of you will have 60 seconds to give us basic information about your side. Last two episodes, the people weren't completely positive about how to do this. They said all kinds of boring things like, I like to eat grapes. No, we don't care about the grapes. Give us more information about, your name, your age, your location, and all of that. Also, what your passions and hobbies are, what kind of a person you are. All right, so we begin with the gentleman first now to our left. I know that you are a very interesting man, and so Michael, you have 60 seconds to tell us about yourself. Go!
Okay, so my name is Michael Sack. I live in Sydney, Australia. I'm absolute health, not a lot of health. It's a major factor within my life. My hobbies is around the Brazilian Jiu-jitsu. I'm a personal trainer, and something that you might not know of me, I've skydived twice.
Wow! So you jumping from the airplane 2 times, not just 1 time. That's dangerous. That would be wonderful. Wow. Okay, that would be wonderful. And so, now, to our right, you are very good on timing, my friend. We have Rachel Meidan. You have 60 seconds, go!
Nothing. I live in Israel, in Ramat Gan. I'm not working at the moment. I can't think of anything. I'm sorry, I've forgotten.
Oh, absolutely. So that was actually 5 seconds. You have 55 more seconds. Go!
I'm living in Ramat Gan. I came from the rural part of the north of England back when I was 19 years old. I'm one of only 4 Sheffield Jews in the whole of Israel, literally.
Oh, absolutely.
Maybe less, maybe either 3 or 4 Sheffield Jews in the whole of Israel, and that's it. I'm at the moment.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Okay. So, both of you guys, I know, come from different ends of the spectrum of the activism when it comes to health-related things. So, as we may know, Michael, the male, is athletic, sportivy man who likes to do jiu-jitsu, and he likes, he's a personal coach. And so, tell us a little bit about your coaching and how that relates to health. What do you believe, Michael, you can help people who are sick achieve with your coaching?
So, personally, I don't really see it as a coaching. It's a very saturated word, and every second or third person says, "Oh yeah, I'm a coach." Right? Okay, sure. And it's a lifestyle, and it all begins with the way that we eat, the way that we think, and the way that we talk to ourselves. It's as simple as that. If you're eating like crap, you're not eating healthy, then obviously your mindset is not going to be there. You have to be eating healthy. You have to be moving your body in one way or another, and just be eating healthy.
You know, when I
And
go when I go dancing,
thinking right.
when I go dance, sorry to disturb you, darling. When I go dancing with my husband, you know, every Yom Shishi on the Tayelet in Tel Aviv, the promenade in Tel Aviv, in front of the beautiful Mediterranean Sea, we have dancing. And so I go with my husband and we do tango and we do Israeli folk dancing. So I'm moving my body, but I still have chronic illnesses. I have a chronic fatigue syndrome. You know, I'm a diva, I'm wonderful, but I still have all kinds of chronic illnesses. So is it all about the moving the body, or is there anything else that we can do to become more healthy? Why do I still have illness even though I'm dancing?
That's you asked me a very good question, and to be honest, I don't know. I'm not a medical professional. Our body is just a phenomenal thing, but there's with every pro that's the coroner, where there's one good thing, and then might be a whole bunch of other things that's being missed on the way. So, with that being said, I don't know, man.
Okay, well, that's a good one. So Rachel comes from the other side of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Rachel is one of the patients that also suffer with chronic illness. And so one of the things, and she can tell it for herself, but one of the things that she's dealing with is exercise, like moving and dancing. Dancing actually make her more sick. So can you tell us a little bit about the ailment that you suffer from, Rachel, and why exercise making you more sick?
Yeah, exercise always makes me worse. I like watching it. I like, you know, that, what's it called? Swing dancing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You know, when it's swing woman in the, I want to do that. I did a free class once and I was ill for 2 days afterwards, so I didn't do it again because of the post-exertional malaise.
So just for the viewers that don't understand, chronic fatigue syndrome is it's like an enigma. So it's like, you know, almost like the femme fatale. Imagine a femme fatale, beautiful diva like myself, but she's actually dangerous underneath. So it's an enigma. And so just like that, chronic fatigue syndrome or myalgic encephalomyelitis is a type of condition where even though exercise is good for everyone, for people who have chronic fatigue, exercise make dangerous. So looking good on the outside, but it's actually dangerous. Similarly, people like Rachel right now, you look absolutely fabulous, wonderful, but we could never tell that you're sick. But that's exactly the problem, is that people with chronic fatigue syndrome, they're looking good on outside, you know, apparently, but then of course also they hide inside when they're feeling bad. And so to do this more justice in terms of the condition, the reason I wanted to bring both of you on the show is first and foremost because Jewish. Secondly, because you have experience in Israel. Third, because you're wonderful. And fourth, because we get to speak about the two different sides of the coin. So there's exercise and a wonderful lifestyle and being healthy and being productive and proactive and being military, like, you know, go, 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 left, right, left. And then on the other side, we have to take care of our bodies, we have to rest. Now, as someone who already is sick, Rachel, and as someone who is important to keep people healthy, Michael, in the middle, I want to say there has to be a middle ground. So, Michael, how would you work with someone at the gym where exercise making them feel worse? Would you tell them, no, let's go and start slow, or let's not do it at all? How would you do it?
Find a middle ground. find the middle ground that they've already experienced complete exertion, or like where they can't move, or like what you said, and find something that when they're resting and they're being like really lethargic and lazy. So it's about finding that middle ground and seeing what works and seeing what doesn't. Obviously, it's not a one cure wonder, and it does take time, but yeah, just getting even a walk around the corner or like a 5 minute walk, that middle ground. Like, sure, if you're very athletic and you want to go do big, strong workouts and all of that, then by all means, go for it. But it's about yeah, again, moving your body, getting yourself outside or in a nice social place where you can speak to other people and you can, yeah, just speak and just enjoy yourself.
So that is about finding balance for someone who is sick, to introduce the sick person to society a little bit more. So finding more of a way to connect with society, speaking to people, and moving a little bit of movement. Now, Rachel, what happens when you move a little bit with your chronic fatigue syndrome? Do you also pay the price?
Today I needed to do a 10-minute walk, so I managed it with 3 rests in the middle, but at the end I was exhausted, so I had to rest another 10 minutes.
Okay, so it's about pacing.
Yeah. At some point your legs give way and you have no choice.
Right. So absolutely. So I guess it's difficult to have yourself constantly having to ask yourself, how do I find that balance? How do I not collapse? And how do I keep going but not over push myself? And so I think this is something very important for people who are trainers and people who are chronically ill and doctors to understand that, just like Michael says, for if he has a client, for example, with whom he's a coach. Actually, you don't like the word coach. I'm sorry, Hamud Shalei. What word do you like? What word should I use?
Whatever you want, mate.
Okay.
Whatever you want.
So let's say trainer. So the trainer. By the way, Michael, you're from Australia, right? So you say mite and koala and kangaroo. Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I guess Michael, if he was a personal trainer to someone who was sick, he would use the middle ground, like the trainer of the middle ground. And I think that that's important. So wonderful, we have a middle ground. Congratulations. Everybody clapping your hands. Middle ground. We achieve it. We come to the center. Wonderful. Okay. So now, I want to discuss for about 5 minutes what it is to be a Jew in your spatial location and what brought you to Israel. And so let's start with Rachel. Rachel has an interesting story. You say you're the only Jew in Sheffield?
Only Israeli family, except for the Chabad representative. Now there's Sheffield University has a professor, some sort of professor of biology has come there. So there's another one other than the Chabad representative.
And Sheffield is in England, more the countryside in the United Kingdom?
Yeah, the north, about 4 or 5 hours on the train from London. 4 hours, in between 2 and 4 hours on the train from London.
So those are the periphery, the ones that voted Brexit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah, countryside. And
so not many Jewish people. Did you?
I think there's only 4 Sheffield Jews in all of Israel, something like that.
No.
I'm Facebook with 2 of them.
You grew up in Sheffield, and how did it feel to be a minority? Did you get any shit from people?
It was bloody hard.
Really?
Actually, it was harder with the Jews, because the Jews from London would look down on us from Sheffield.
Really? Why is that?
Because they're idiots. I don't. You know, obviously, it's like someone from Tel Aviv looking down on someone from Sderot, which is stupid.
Oh, so it's a socioeconomic issue.
Probably, yeah.
I understand.
With a bit of snobbism falling in.
So for the viewers that don't know, that in Israel, people like me, Shoshana Smilanski, we live in Tel Aviv and Ramat Aviv. We are white, we are cultured, and we look down at the brown Israelis. And so Rachel is more the brown Israeli because Sheffield is more brown. And then I am the one from London looking down. Okay. So... Yeah. Did you move to Israel because of the minority status? And when did you move to Israel from UK?
Because of the health, because we didn't like the health care. But once we arrived here, we liked it in other ways too. But not just that. A lot of people in Sheffield didn't know what a Jew was, to be fair. To a lot of non-Jewish people. Yeah.
Did they have a misconception of the Jew as being the one with the horns and the one that controlled world domination and all of that?
I don't know.
Well,
I remember I was in the school dinner queue when I was age 13, and another girl there, and she said to me, "Are you Jewish?" And I said, "Yes." And she said, "Oh." And she looks at me like I'm something very, very, very exotic. And she said, "Oh, you all have white skin and dark hair." And I said, "Why do you say that?" And she said, "Well, I had a cousin who married a Jew. So I must have been the second she saw in her life."
Wow.
You're talking about countryside, peripheral area, far away, before the internet. So it's like an exotic.
Look, at least you were an exotic, like someone from the Amazon, you know, from the jungle, and someone seeing a jungle tribe and saying, "Wow, you know, can you do booga 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 and play the drum?" Instead of them thinking, "Oh, wow, you know, this is the one who controls the world and has the horns and has world domination." So it's better that way, that she didn't see you in a negative way, but she saw you as a booga booga jungle.
A minority probably saw in a negative way, but it was more the exotic boo 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 thing. It was more
would be
exotic.
Wonderful. Booga booga. Absolutely. Speaking of booga booga, guys, every Friday in Tel Aviv, go to the beach, and in the beach there is Chov Hatupim, where they play the drums, right? All the Israelis with the dreadlocks that go to India after the military service and they don't shower, they go back to Israel, and every Friday they do the booga booga drums on the beach. It's a wonderful experience if you want to feel like you're in the jungle. Okay, Michael, your turn.
Yes.
What brought you to Israel?
So, I was living in Israel. I'm back in Australia now. I was born and bred there. But what got me there in the first place was born and raised in this very Zionistic household. I still am. I love the country to bits. And I always had this dream of living over there. And it was just a dream. I didn't really, very naive, I didn't really think much of it. Pretty much I moved over there, and subsequently I got slapped in the face with Israeli society. It was a very different one in comparison to Australia. Australia is very laid back, relaxed, and there's no pressure to keep moving. Move. There's none of that. So going over there and being surrounded by that was an incredible experience. I learned a hell of a lot about myself, and overall, I wouldn't have changed a thing. So obviously, when I was there, it was a different story. But now, looking back, I thoroughly enjoyed the time that I was there, and I still love the country and everything that it's given me. So
now, in
that aspect, I'm very grateful.
In Australia, the difference between you and Rachel is that Australia, you are from Sydney or Melbourne?
Sydney.
Sydney. So Sydney and Melbourne, I believe, you have a lot of Jewish people, but Sheffield, she was very minority. So did you feel that you were a minority growing up, or did you feel that you were part of majority because you're surrounded with other people?
There's a big Jewish community within Sydney and Melbourne, and I was part of a youth movement called Bnei Akiva, and it's a global youth movement. It pushes Zionism and making Aliyah, and so I was always a part of that. I guess there aren't that many guys in my age that did make Aliyah, well, intentionally do it.
So
Some guys out there that
Aliyah means moving to Israel. For those viewers that don't know,
moving up. Sorry,
moving to Israel. Yes.
Moving to Israel. Yeah. So, I intentionally I was always intentional after I wasn't like I made the decision years before I moved that I was going to move.
Okay, so because of connection, Rachel, you look quite confused.
I can't hear him. I couldn't hear any of that.
Yes.
But never mind.
Yes, no, it's okay. I saw you. You're looking so confused. So I also confused him because I could not hear Michael either, and now it seems he's frozen. Hello, Michael. Bugu bugu. Oh, Michael. Bugu bugu.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Your connection is not Australia. It's more like Nicaragua. Okay. So now we come to number 3 section of today's show, which is get to know one another. So in this section, I play what's called the quiet game, where I, Shoshana Smilanski, the IsraDiva, become less domineering and less overwhelming, and I go shoo, shoo, shoo. I become quiet, and I let you guys for a few minutes speak to one another and see how spontaneous conversation go. Now, 1, 2, 3.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. I don't know what you said.
Yeah.
What?
How many years have you been here? I mean, in Australia. Since when did you leave Israel? I mean.
Oh, we started playing? Okay, shush. Bye
We started playing already. You shush. When did I leave Israel? I think it must have been about three odd years ago, give or take. And yeah, what like you said earlier that you weren't happy in the UK. I know there's a big community of Englishmen within Israel. Have you connected with them at all?
Not many, because I had to return to Ramat Gan, which has nearly no English speakers. Why? Because my mother was born in Ramat Gan, and my great grandfather were like one of the founders. So that's the big disadvantage. And all the English speakers, the majority are American. I haven't seen a single Australian, you know. There must be one or two, but I haven't met. And they're all in Tel Aviv, and they're all young women looking for husbands. And they're all in Tel Aviv, and I just can't, it's just not for me. And by chance, the people that I've liked, they've happened to be not in Ramat Gan, and not in Tel Aviv, but in Netanya.
In Netanya?
Yeah, there's a big English-speaking community there.
Yeah. Sure.
And it's nearer my age.
Oh, wow.
I've turned 40. So the 26 don't, they're like not in my age group. And they only started coming since, like a couple of years ago, since 2008, the 20-somethings. What were you?
I'm sorry to interrupt. I know I'm not being truthful to the format, but I feel kind of sad that you guys didn't get to meet one another when we were in Israel. I feel that you would have really hit it off.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, it's never
It's,
too late.
well, I know at some stage I'll be going back. I absolutely love it, and I love it there. I really do. It's so different, and every time you go there, you learn something new about the people. You learn something about yourself, and just overall, it's just really cool.
Which bit were you in?
So I first started when I moved out. I was living in near, where was it? Near the north. I was by Steliao. Do you know where it is? It's kind of
Sounds
in the
familiar.
north. Yeah, you have Steliao is a kibbutz, and essentially what a kibbutz is, it's almost like a farm, but it's a communal thing. You have people. For those that don't really know what it is, it's people who live there, and they have each and every one person that has a job to do with in the community, and in return, the farm gives you a place to sleep, a roof over your head, and food in your belly.
It's
So
like
that's essentially
communi-
what it is.
communism.
Kind of. It originally started out as this communistic idea, but later down the line realized that it looked good on paper, but practically it wasn't all that ideal. So majority of them throughout the country have went private. So they actually do make some type of a income, whether it's a lot or little.
Absolutely.
So I started there. Yep.
We like your tattoo, by the way. Rachel, I can tell, likes your tattoo. Show us, what is it of?
I thought it was rude to comment on it. I was embarrassed to comment.
No, I could read mine, so I read your mind, and so I spoke for you. So show us again. Explain, when did you get it, and what is it of, and does it hurt?
It's quite well done.
It's a dragon. So it's the head of a dragon and a body of a koi fish. It's traditional Japanese tattoos.
Are you Japanese?
No. No, I'm not.
Okay.
I finished in my studies as a personal trainer, and yeah, pretty much the meaning of the tattoo. The story goes that each koi fish within traditional Japanese has a different meaning, but this one, the story of it is that it went through a lot of difficulties, so lots of different challenges, and it overall became like this successful thing, this successful being of some sort, and that's just a folk story within a traditional Japanese tattoos.
It
and
reminded me of a little bit of a phoenix, like rising like a phoenix. Similar.
Kind of. So it was hard for me to finish in my studies, and I was like, I want to get another tattoo, and this one spoke to me, and I got it. Truth be told, it wasn't that bad. It stung a little bit. The shading, where you see the things that are filled in, that was the more painful part, because I don't have to go into details. But that was the more painful part. But overall, 3 hours went by like that.
Wow, well, we're glad that you weren't in pain, and it looks wonderful. Is that your only body tattoo?
No, I got another one over here. That says Jiu-jitsu.
Wow.
Very passionate about it. Love it. And I got another 3 on my leg.
Show us the leg.
Nah.
Okay. I guess Michael is a little bit
Too much
shy.
of an effort.
Okay.
I got 1 on my left and 2 on my right.
Beautiful. So, Rachel, do you have any tattoo?
No.
Do you have any body piercing?
No, just the ears. I did it secretly on my 40th, or 39th or 40th birthday without my mother knowing. But I lived with my parents till a late age, and my mum was one of those domineering types, bossy types, and I did it secretly without her knowing, as if I was a teenager.
So you had a rebellious teenage phase later in life.
Yeah.
Okay.
At the age of 40.
And did she like it when she saw it afterwards?
She never noticed.
Oh, well, I think it looks wonderful. Show us up close.
Oh, I can't because it's on my phone.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Very
They did
nice.
It's just
beautiful.
it was a big effort to do though, because without a noticing.
I'm glad you did it. You know, they say in developmental psychology, in developmental psychology, they say that it's important to rebel against the parents in order to come free of the shackles of the Oedipal complex. And so we have Oedipus, where we want to marry the mother or the father, and we want to kill off the other person symbolically, of course, nothing incestual or real, okay? Just to make sure. And so then, in order to break free of the shackles of that, we have to rebel. We have to have some sort of a phase where we say, no, I'm going to go to the Tachana Merkazit, Ima, and I'm going to get a piercing in my ear, and you won't know about it. So it's good that you did it at a later age because it's necessary for your development. Wonderful. Everyone clap the hand. Wonderful.
Yay.
So now we have a few more minutes left, just a few more. And so in this section, we do a special one because we have beautiful accents here. We have my Germanic, Ashkenazi, Israeli accent. Shalom, everybody like this. Then we have Rachel with a Sheffield accent, heavy Sheffield accent. And then we have wonderful Michael Sack, like the ball sack, with his wonderful Sydney accent from Australia. So, in this game, we attempt to imitate one another's accent. So, in the beginning, I'm going to have Rachel try to imitate me. Go!
I'm Diva Smilanski, and I can't do it. I'm Diva Smilanski, and I'm Diva, and no, I can't do it.
No, you're doing wonderful.
Wonderful. My mom's Israeli accent is different to yours,
You're
and I'm doing like my mom.
Because your mom isn't an IsraDiva. Okay, Michael.
Yes.
Imitate me. Go.
Imitate me. My name is Smilanski. I'm an Israeli diva.
Wow, so that sounds a little bit like Kermit the Frog. It's very good.
You've got the pitch right.
Beautiful. Okay, now we try to imitate Michael. So, I begin. 1, 2, 3, I go.
Go.
Hi, mate. I prefer to be called anything else you want to call me, mate. How was that? Was that good?
Good.
Wonderful.
That's not bad. It's a good start.
Thank you. Well, I'll work on it. Rachel, imitate Michael's Australian accent. Go.
I'm Michael. I'm Australia. No, Australia and Melbourne. No, I need to get into it. I need to hear it a bit more. Then I can
sounded more Irish than anything else.
You sounded more Irish than yeah, it does. If I could hear it more, I could do it.
You do good, wonderful job. Now we imitate Rachel. So I will begin to imitate Rachel's accent. Go. I'm not sure.
You.
I think that I'm from Sheffield, and we were actually one of the 4 only Jews there, but I'm not sure. How was that?
That's such a good.
Actually,
you've done it because it's different than London, and you've especially made it different than London.
You know what you remind me of, Rachel? The accent that you have reminds me of that song that goes, uh-oh, uh-oh, I don't know if you know it, but it's like we are all from Sheffield and we're dancing and we're dancing. It's a song about Anyways, it's wonderful. So, Michael, your turn to imitate Sheffield accent. Go.
My name is Rachel, and I'm from Sheffield. I was horrible at it.
You make it like the Queen of England that has a problem with her mouth. Wait, you guys were so wonderful. I had such a lovely time today, and this, just so you guys know, I will be adding a link below to Michael's endeavors on the internet. He has a podcast and he has a coach, training for people. And then I will be adding any information that Rachel would want me to add about her life as well. She runs a beautiful, important activism group on Facebook for the chronic fatigue and all kinds of different things. So I can link you guys up to these beautiful people in their social media. We'll discuss later if you're interested in sharing. So now that we're finished, I'm going to sing the song of the IsraDiva live show. Now, every show I say I'm going to sing the song, but just as a secret, I let you know, I don't remember the song, so I make it up on the spot every other episode. Okay, so, welcome everybody to IsraDiva Live. We are so happy that you came to IsraDiva Live. Today's show we had Rachel and Michael, and we are so happy to have you. Thank you very much, everyone. That was wonderful. Bye-bye, guys. Have a wonderful day, and thank you again.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Nice to meet. Bye.